So I think, why don't we take a moment and talk about what phonics programs are and how they have a strategic approach to teaching the letters. Because, I see in a lot of kindergarten, grade 1 classrooms, the beginning of the year, they start at A. And at the end of the year, they are like 26 weeks later. Or
letter of the week.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, so that's old school, right? That's, do the letter of the week. You cut out pictures from a magazine that all begin with the letter A, and you work your way through it. Yeah, I'm hoping that most of that type of thinking, I hope, is gone. But you never know. All right, so the architecture of a strong phonics program should be where there are a few sounds, a couple of vowels, and a handful of consonants. That's all you really need to get multiple words. I mean, that's the beauty of phonics, where rather than just, I see a word was, I know the word was, that's the end. You can't get anything more out of that word. Mm-hmm. But if I know this, like 8 different sounds, I could get about 40 words out of that I could mix those sounds up and move them together, left to right, all through the word. And I could be then reading a lot more than just memorizing some words. So a good phonics program, if it's built the way we're talking about, that's truly systematic, there is a system involved that moves through simple to complex, starting at some of the basic skills. And then, of course, it gets harder. But as it gets harder, you're still always reviewing the easier stuff. So it always cycles back. And a good decodable book not only brings in the new, but goes back and cycles through what was already taught. So they're getting more exposures. That's what we talked about, which builds some fluency, right? And automatic recognition of words. That's what we want, without memorizing words. So, and that's the key. So it should be systematic. It should be cumulative. It should be a program where it's understood why we're doing something. So in other words, let's say you have AI and AY, showing the A sound. So you're starting with the A sound. So you might start off with some of the easiest ways to show the A sound. The A consonant E, the AI, and the AY. Mm-hmm. And maybe that's it in the book that's new. Everything else has been taught already. But then maybe in a set above, they start bringing in another way to show the A sound that's a little bit more complex. It's not something as common. So you're going to then maybe bring in later on, maybe EIGH for A, like in the number 8, the word 8. Maybe you're going to bring in the EA that now used to only be the E sound. Now you can flex it to the A sound, like, and that's great. Mm-hmm. Or to have a piece of steak. So you don't do this all at once. I think that's also a misunderstanding where, we have one sound and we have to do all the different ways at once. No, what a good phonics program does do is it does go through the multiple ways, but it doesn't all have to happen in one shot. You do the most common first, and then eventually you'll get there doing things that don't come up as often, but a reader still needs to see those patterns. So a good phonics program matched with good practice will give you that.
And an important note to have, if you're using one of those in a classroom setting and you have a student who's absent, because this is a cumulative program in nature, you need to make sure that you take that time aside and teach the student that was absent for that day so they're not missing a sound.
Exactly. Because since it does build, right, if they are missing something, then they're going on, they're not going to be able to just pick it up. That's the whole point of this. We have to be very explicit and make sure that all kids are getting this information. Now, after a while, there are some kids through what we would call statistical learning. There are kids where they don't even need to get through the whole code. All of a sudden, their reading starts to take off. Once they understand some letters and sounds and patterns, they just actually can figure out, oh yeah, I know how to flex. Once they know how to flex the vowel, all of a sudden, they kind of intuitively say, oh, I'll try one way, I'll try the other way.
Mm-hmm.
But a child with profound difficulties will not just get that without being taught every step of the way. So, and that's what you were saying before, Kathryn, that for some kids, we don't need to take them through a whole series of decodables for, 3 straight years in a row. Some kids who pick it up faster, we'll put them in anything you want. They're not limited anymore. But for other kids, we have to keep them there a little bit longer until they get those 1,000 practice opportunities or whatever it takes.